is the dream, but the silence feels louder than it seems. Applications sent like ships in the dark. No replies, no spark, no start. You think it's a paper, just words on a page, but it's a system to break out the cage. Get higher fast, it's more than your past. You're the go-to pro, let the world know. Get higher fast, leave the doubt in the past. Worried they're looking at the years you wear, like time erased what you bring to the chair. But it's not about age, it's the way you play. Pushing yourself, lead the way, the way. Connect to the ones who make the calls, shake the fear, break the walls. Get higher fast, it's more than your past. You're the go-to pro, let the world know. Get higher fast, leave the doubt in the past. Worried they're looking at the years you wear, like time erased what you bring to the chair. But it's not about age, it's the way you play. Pushing yourself, lead the way, the way. Connect to the ones who make the calls, shake the fear, break the walls. Get higher fast, it's more than your past. You're the go-to pro, let the world know. Get higher fast, leave the doubt in the past. Get higher fast, it's more than your past. You're the go-to pro, let the world know. Get higher fast.
You scroll through hundreds of job descriptions, but they all sound the same. You spend so much time on every application, but it doesn't seem to matter. You send off application after application, but never hear back. You thought the interview went so well, but it's a no. You jump through all the hoops. The news keeps saying how there are all these employers that are struggling to find people to hire. So why does finding a great job have to be so hard? It doesn't seem very logical or fair. It's not. The system is broken. It's not your fault. The process most people go through to get a job is awful. But here's the good news. The system isn't very smart. In fact, it's downright dumb. It can be beaten. How? Most prospective employers and employees today are using the same old tired strategies that have been around forever. It's like professional camouflage. Everybody just blends into the crowd. But you don't have to be that way anymore. You can get traction. You can stand out from the crowd to unleash your God-given potential, to help a world in need, to do work that matters, to earn what you and your family deserve. You can do this. You're meant to do this. There are bright things on the horizon for you. This is the way. Welcome to the workshop. Get hired fast without settling, getting ignored, or losing hope, so that you can do work that matters and earn what you and your family deserve. My name is Eric Woodard. I'm a high-performance career and leadership coach based out of Washington, D.C. And if you're here on this amazing Tuesday, I just really acknowledge you for being here. Folks, I got to be honest with you. We have a small and mighty crowd here today. We usually have a bigger crowd for these workshops. But after the holiday, you're one of some of the few people that were smart enough to sign up for this, even smarter to show up. If you're watching the replay, that's cool. And if you're here live, you are among a select few. So I just really want to acknowledge you. It means we're going to have more time for questions. And I like to give stuff away, so there'll be just frankly less competition. So with that being said, let's get started. And if you would put in the chat where you're from and how long you've been on the job search, because I'd like to know. And I see there Donique and Brent and Brenda. I saw you earlier, right? So happy that you're here. But how long you've been on the job search and where you're from? Because guys, sometimes being on a job search can feel a lot like pounding sand. Sometimes it can feel like waiting on a glacier. Sometimes it can feel a lot like wandering through a desert. Other times, hey there, Sayama in Detroit. I see you. It's been just a week. Hi there, Ashley in Nashville. It can feel like going into the arena. Hey there, Karen in Arizona. Sometimes it can feel, hi there, Edward in Arizona also. Donique, I see there, South Florida, 3 months for you. It can feel like, speaking of Arizona, looking into an abyss. Hi there, Saryana in Washington. Hi, Cyril. Hi, Crystal in North Carolina. So who is this for? If you're unsure about the direction you want your career to go, if you've been struggling to find ways to describe what you do, hey there, Debbie, I see you. If you're uncertain if your resume is any good, hey there, Brad in East Texas. Hi there, Brenda in Texas, 3 months for you. If you're wrestling with how to follow up after you apply, hey there, Edna in Atlanta, nice to see you. If you're tired of applying and hearing nothing back, if you've been doing interviews that seem to go great and then you get a big fat no, if you're trapped in a job that you don't like and you're just not sure how to escape, and most of all, my friends, if you're losing hope, this is a workshop for you. On the other hand, if you're somebody who's just kind of super casual about your career, really not willing to do a lot of work, reluctant to take responsibility for the results you've been getting, just interested in making money, you're sort of stuck in your ways and you know all the reasons you're not getting a job, unwilling to be authentic, this may not be the workshop for you, and that's okay. So what you're going to learn today, how to get hired fast without settling, getting ignored, or losing hope. 4 strategies and 9 tactics you can put to work right away so that you can do work that matters and pays what you and your family deserve. How about that? Let's get this handled. So our agenda for today, I'm just briefly going to tell you where I'm coming from. A lot of you are like, who the hell is this guy? That's cool. Just so you'll know a little bit about where I'm coming from. Again, 4 strategies, 9 tactics that you can put to work right away. I do have an invitation, right? Some of you have joined this call because I think we had 8 people get hired last week. It was crazy in our program. Some of you know about our program. You're interested in signing up. The way to do that is you book a call with us. And a lot of you are like, what the hell is he talking about? If you're going to book a call, my only request is you're going to show up. You're not going to book a call and then get cold feet and cancel. You're going to be open to paying real American dollars so we can get somebody to pay you real American dollars. You're going to be open to investing in yourself. And you're ready to get started. And if that's you, feel free to book a call. We're going to talk more about that. Hi, Kiara in Durham. Nice to see you. Actually, one of our coaches is from Durham. That's very cool. And we'll have time for Q&A. So that's how you book a call. We'll talk more about that. So yeah, we're going to have time for Q&A today. So who is this guy and why does he think he can help me find a job? Well, look, folks, I'm kind of a weirdo. I grew up in Asia, came to the States when I was 18, wound up transferring college 7 times. A little bit of a lost soul. Wasn't really thinking about my career. Wound up as a scuba instructor on the island of Guam. That was pretty cool. I spent about 10,000 hours underwater with the fish and the sun and all sorts of sea creatures. And after a while doing that, I was like, I got to kind of pull it together. So I thought, what would be the most prestigious job I could have as the mighty scuba sensei that I was? And I thought, well, that must be working at the White House, obviously. So I took out a piece of paper and I wrote a cover letter and I said, "Dear Mr. President, you should hire me." And I mailed it off. I'm like, I'm never hearing back on that. But about a month later, I was going past the Guam post office. And the guy came out and he's like, "Eric, you got a letter from the White House." And it was in this cool White House envelope. And so I opened it up and it was an internship application. Now, folks, I didn't know what the hell an internship was, but I was really good at filling out applications because I transferred college so many times. So I filled that sucker out, mailed it. I'm like, I'm never hearing back from that. But at least I had the cool envelope. I thought that was pretty cool. And that got me sort of thinking, inspired. I applied to some grad schools, wound up getting into GW here in Washington, D.C., landed with this big bushy island haircut, was like dumpster diving for furniture, wound up buying a pair of running shoes, was out on the National Mall one day, ran past the White House. And I was like, those White House bastards, they never even bothered to let me know about that internship thing. What's up with that? So I found a payphone. I put in a quarter and I said, "Hey, you bastards, what about that internship thing?" And they're like, "Is this Eric from Guam?" I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Man, we've been trying to get in touch with you. You start in the First Lady's office on Monday." I'm like, "Oh, well, that's interesting." So I bought a suit, got a haircut, and I showed up. Now, look, my friends, I know we got a lot of political craziness in the United States right now. I don't know if my politics match yours. Please forgive me if they don't. This was back during the Clinton administration. I went to work for Hillary Rodham Clinton. She was a great boss. was on intern on her staff, wound up getting hired on her staff in short order, and wound up with her for a lot of the Clinton administration in Hillary Land, followed her to the U.S. Senate, where we did stuff for the great state of New York, followed her to the U.S. State Department, where I did stuff for UNESCO, and eventually I left Hillary Land and became director of fellowships and internships at the Smithsonian Institution. And all during this time, I would see people at all different stages in their career, early professionals, mid-career professionals, senior people, all different disciplines, running into this same thing when it came to career stuff. Finding a job, there's nothing that's very linear or logical or fair about it. And so now I do a lot of coaching. I've written a bunch of books. I have an outrageous number of pieces of paper that say how awesome I am. I have glowing testimonials, and you don't care about any of that. Because what you care about is, can I help you? Oh, probably, maybe. We helped about 9 bazillion job seekers. Let's see if we can help you. So 4 strategies. Here we go. What's a good resume about? If you would, put it in the chat. I'd like to know, what's a good resume about? And there's a little bit of a delay. So this is where I need like some like Jeopardy music or something. But what's a good resume about? I'd be curious if anybody gets the right answer right. Last week, nobody got it right. And we're a lot more people on the workshop last week than this week. So let's see if anybody gets it right. Put it in the chat. What's a good resume about? Let's see if anybody's brave. Anybody going to take me up? What's a good resume about? What do you think? Who knows the answer? Okay, here we go. So Tyler says conveying value. Crystal says keywords. Nope. Nobody's got the right answer yet. Right? Not yet. Any other takers? We'll give everybody just a few. So, Ashley says selling yourself. Ashley, lots of love for you. Right? So Brent says a good resume skills I have that match the needs of the company. Okay, Brent, you're getting a little warmer, but nobody's got the right answer yet. Okay, so here's the thing, guys. What a lot of people say, right? I see there, Thomas, schedule an appointment, right? Oh, I think maybe Thomas wants to schedule an appointment. We'll get there. So Jamie says numbers, right? Darian says a good story. Kimberly says it's about me. A marketing document. Yeah, guys. So here's what a lot of you are saying. A lot of you are saying, I hear you there, Shiloh. A lot of you are saying a good resume is about you. Nah. You want to be influential with another person in the world, the first thing you're going to talk about is them. Good resume is not about you. It's about them. If you get nothing else out of this workshop today, get this. This alone will change your job search. Good resume is not about you. It's about them. It's about them. So many job seekers are walking around thinking, well, I got to be impressive. I got to sell myself. Nah. And don't believe me. Like, how's that been working? Employers are focused on themselves. So the opportunity for you is to do likewise. Focus on them. And look, folks, it's no wonder that we are focused on ourselves, because in school, it is very much about us. And very likely the first resume you ever did was coming out of school. And in school, it is about us. It's our cubby. It's our desk. It's our worksheet. It's our transcript. It's our, diploma. And yet when we move to the working world, those seasoned professionals here know it's not about us. It's about the constituent, the client, the customer, the audience. It's not about us. So the opportunity is to realize is that if we can make it about them in our job search, game changer, right? So Brett says, good resume, strategic marketing document, tooting the horn of the client. Kind of. And it may not be tooting the horn, Brett. It may just be like acknowledging them. And we're going to talk a lot more about this. Yeah, we're going to. Okay. So I like to, Miguel S. booked a call. Nice job, Miguel. We look forward to talking to you, buddy. Good job. And let's make sure we give Miguel this course. It's called How to Make Your LinkedIn Profile Awesome. We're going to send that to you, Miguel, just because thanks for booking a call. We look forward to talking to you. All right. So guys, look, if I went to a library and I saw a bunch of storybooks on the shelf, right? And I looked at the words on the front cover of those storybooks. What are those words called? What are those words called on the front cover of a storybook? Let's see if anybody gets this right. What are those words called on the front cover of a storybook? Let's see who gets the right answer. And again, we've got a smaller crowd today, so it's a little bit of a delay. But I'll wait. I'm a coach. I can hold silence. It's one of my features. Ashley and Carlos, right out. Okay, guys, Ashley and Carlos. Arlene, there will be a recording that goes around, but you won't be able to get giveaways if you're not here live. So Carlos and Ashley, thanks for you got the right answer. We're going to send you this course, How to Make Your LinkedIn Profile Awesome. So we're going to send this to you. Congratulations on getting the course. Amazing. Good job, right? Titles. Now, isn't it interesting that that's the same term we use to label people in the workplace? Just like that's right. And just like we'll put the title on the front cover of a storybook, we put titles on people's careers, which brings me to the idea of stories. Let me ask you a question. What percent of human decision making is emotional and what percent is logical? Put it in the chat if you would, please. Right? So is it 50-50, 60-40, 40-60? What's the ratio when it comes to human decision making? What percent is emotional and what percent is logical? Put it in the chat because I want to give away some more stuff. I want to give away this LinkedIn course, right? What percent is, so Brent says 80%, Edward says 60%. Okay. Richard says 40-60. Haven't seen the right answer yet, right? I want to give some stuff away. Lindsay says 60-40. Nope. Right. 75-25 says Ryan. Nope. I love all these voices. Carlos says 90% emotional. Nobody's got it right yet. Nope. Okay. I'll give you guys a few more seconds. What percent is emotional? So here's the thing. Brianna says 85. Guys, it's 100% emotional. Seth says, yeah, Tyler, I see you. It's 100% emotional. And the reason, Brent Tucker. All right, let's make sure we take care of Brent Tucker, right? And I see you there, Benny. So Brent Tucker and Benny Moore, 100% emotional. That's right. Good job. I have to be careful not to talk over the sound effects because we actually have Jessa and Jelly helping us here today. Hey, Rebecca M., you booked a call. Nice job, Rebecca. We look forward to talking to you. Nice work. Nice work, Rebecca. So Jessa and Jelly are helping us. So Jessa and Jelly, you guys are doing a great job. It's 100% emotional. Human decision-making is 100% emotional. And like, for instance, when you got on this call today, you decided very quickly whether you like the music, the color of my shirt, the sound of my voice, right? It was very quick and it was 100% emotional. And then once we make the emotional decision, we'll just gather facts to rationalize the decision that we've already made. And the reason stories are so important is, like Maya Angelou taught us, people remember how we made them feel. And stories are how we convey emotion. Guys, and our capacity for processing like emotional data is like orders of magnitude greater. Like we can do like 40 bits a second when it comes to just facts. But when it comes to emotions, it's like 20 million bits a second. I mean, it's orders of magnitude greater that we can process. So if you're not incorporating emotion and stories in your stuff, it's a real opportunity for you. For example, notice how I'm about to tell a story, right? One time I was taking applications for a program and this woman, Maggie, wrote in. She wrote how the summer before she'd been in a terrible car accident and her arm had been severed. Oh, wow. That's crazy, right? So we accept Maggie to the program, waiting for her to arrive the first day. I'm thinking, what accommodations will one-armed Maggie need? She shows up, 2 arms. Now, it was bandaged from where it had been partially severed and reattached, and Maggie was doing some physical therapy. She was going to be okay. Now, was I pissed off that Maggie had 2 arms? Of course not. I was so happy. And I remember that story to this day like it was yesterday because of how it made me feel. So you're going to want to use emotion and stories in your stuff when it comes to job seeking. Andy F. booked a call. Look forward to talking to you, Andy. Look forward to talking to you. Nice job, Andy. Okay. And let's make sure we give Andy that course, 100%. How to make your LinkedIn profile awesome. Okay, guys, I got another question for you. Who's this? Who's this guy? What's this kid's name? I'll give you a hint. He lives in Idaho. What's this guy's name called? Right? Some of you are like, who is that? But like, what's this character's name? What's his name? Who is this guy? Somebody's going to know. He's friends to the llamas. What's this guy's name? Nobody's going to answer. I want to give some more stuff away. I'm just saying. Oh, there we go. Okay. So I see Ashley, Jamie, and Ryan. It looks like you guys saw all 3. So we're going to give you that free course, how to make your LinkedIn profile awesome. Congratulations. And like, this is Napoleon Dynamite. That's exactly right. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with Napoleon Dynamite, this is from a movie. Please stop your job search and go just watch this fine piece of cinema. Because Napoleon's a high school kid. He lives in Idaho. I'm not going to give away the movie. And in this particular scene, hey, Jonathan J., you booked a call. We look forward to talking to you. Nice job, Jonathan. We're going to send you that LinkedIn course as well, right? Napoleon's on stage in front of the entire student body at his school. He's managed to get a cassette tape up to the sound booth, but the music's starting to play, and now Napoleon's on the hook to do some kind of performance for which he has not prepared. So Napoleon proceeds to do this crazy dance. I mean, he just opens the kimono metaphorically. I mean, it is wild. And when he's done, he's sort of panting and he's all sweaty and all of his classmates are like this. And then they burst into applause. Yes, it is John Heder. That's right, Carlos. They burst into applause. And the reason it works is because it's so authentic. Jamie Kern Lima, the founder of It Cosmetics, says everybody's a good dancer if they commit fully. And she's right. Which brings us to strategy number 3, right? Humans hire humans. Be authentic. Nobody can be a better Jonathan or Tyler or Carlos than they can. And now I can hear you collectively saying, Eric, but what about the ATS? What about the algorithms? Hey, Ryan H., you booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, Ryan, right? How's that been working for you, my friends? Right? Humans hire humans, right? And I get that it's very popular to talk about an ATS optimized resume. Nah, right? There are ATS systems and they're different in every company. There's not one system that works one way, and we don't know how they work. And they're getting pretty good. It's sort of hard to game them now. So you might as well just apply. And instead of focusing on tricking the computer, focus on connecting with a real human. We're going to talk about this more. That's the opportunity. You're going to want to put evidence on your resume that you're a real human. For example, one time I was talking to Nina and we're looking at her resume and I'm like, Nina, what do you like to do for fun? She's like, I collect pens. I'm like, well, that's super effing weird. I'm like, we got to put that on there. She's like, oh, no. I couldn't do that. That would be too silly, unprofessional. I'm like, child, please put it on there. So we finally get Nina to put it on there, begrudgingly. I hear from Nina about a month later. She went into an interview. They talked about pens for 30 minutes and then she got the job offer. And this happens all the time with my clients, right? You want to be more human in your job search, not less. Okay. Authenticity is your superpower. Daniel N. We look forward to talking to you, Daniel N. Nice job. Right. Good job. Look forward. We're going to send you that course. Okay. Abraham Lincoln said, give me 6 hours to cut down a tree and I'll spend the first 4 sharpening the axe. This brings us to the idea of systems. The current results you're getting in your job search are perfectly attuned to your current systems. And some of you are like, well, Eric, but I don't have a system. That's my problem. Nah, you've got a system. Some of you have a system called, I'm going to hide my age. Some of you have a system called, I'm going to keep secret that I'm on a job search because I don't want to appear needy. Some of you have a system called, I've got that paragraph at the top of my resume that talks all about myself and has absolutely no context that everybody's going to skip because that's what they know that's what I want them to see, right? All sorts of systems that you have. And it's just that your systems aren't working as much as you want them to. So the opportunity is not to keep doing the same system. The opportunity is to do a different system. Now, look, folks, for a lot of you, this is your current system. And I got to hand it to you, friends. You have worked your heart out with this system. I mean, you got the sticky gear shift and the button, right? And the little thing that makes the rattling noise. I mean, you've tried every single permutation of settings and you're wondering why you can't get traction on your job search. Here's what you're going to want to know. This is the system that's available. This is why you're not getting traction in your job search, right? Because look, you could spend a lot of time and money trying to figure out how to go from this system to this system, or like we could just like show you the system. And we don't know exactly what your settings are going to be, but we know what settings tend to work for a lot of people that are probably a lot like you. Scott B booked a call, right? So this is a way to think of your job search. So there's nothing wrong with you. It's just your system. It's your system. All right. So how do you put this all to work? So folks, I just want to offer you like these things that I'm talking about, and I'm going to give you these 9 tactics here in a second. They work great. And is this different than what you've been hearing? Thank you for noticing. The stuff you've been hearing doesn't work. This does, and more to come, right? This isn't stuff you can Google. This is stuff that I've created for years in my career and just based on like helping a lot of people, right? It's opposite of what a lot of people say. So I want to share that this stuff does work. And we're going to, guys, we're going to show Angel's clip here. Angel was somebody who came to the workshop and who saw this, and she booked a call, was really scared, was worried about money, didn't think wasn't sure if it would work for her. She had courage and she signed up with our program, and here was her result. Let's show it. In the time we've got left, I'm curious, especially if there's somebody we haven't heard from yet. They've had a win, a loss. Angel, I got to ask you, what do we know, if anything? What do we know?
I got the job. Yay!
Whoa!
The offer. I'm moving in a week. Yeah, it's crazy. And I know when we first met, you're like, oh, like, let's get something by your birthday. And my birthday is in 4 days, so I was able to do it. Yay!
And I just want to acknowledge you. Like, you dove in, you did it, you did the work.
Thank you.
Way to go.
It would have been possible without like signing up for this program. Truly, I think it made the difference for me.
So good, Angel.
Yeah.
Really happy for you.
Yeah.
Super awesome. Congratulations to you. Yeah. Hey, Brent Tucker, man. Yeah. So, Brent, first of all, you just booked a call, which is awesome. We acknowledge you. And, Brent, I really acknowledge what you say about romper room to mission control. Yeah, you don't want to spend your job search in the romper room. I mean, you can. It just doesn't work very well. Like, let's get you in mission control. All right. So, guys, I do have a program. I'm going to talk about it a little later. It works really well. It gets a lot of people hired really, really fast. If you're interested in talking about this program or just like having a great coaching call and exploring what's possible for you, you can book a call, as Brent just did, and a lot of others are. Yeah, it includes a lot of great stuff, one-on-one coaching. We're starting in 2026. We're going to be doing like a meeting like every day of the week. It's going to be awesome. We have stuff called like Slay Your Resume and Interview Rescue. Brenda P, we look forward to talking to you. Brenda, right? Nice job. Right. So that's how you book a call. It's awesome. It's easy. No strings, right? If we don't think we can help you, that's fine. But if we think we can help you, like, we're going to talk about it. So, and I can answer more questions about that later. Okay. All right, guys. So this is the part of the workshop where I like to talk to the people who are listening to the replay, and they probably got me on 2x speed. I like to talk real damn fast. So it's going to have like 17 times speed. I'm like, why is it going so fast? I like to do that just to keep them awake. Let's say there's a lake, and in the middle of the lake, somebody's drowning. Okay, somebody's drowning. Now they're surrounded by other people in little boats. So somebody's in the middle of the lake drowning. They're surrounded by other people in little boats. If that was a job search, who's the person drowning? Put it in the chat if you would, please. All right, because I want to give some stuff away here, right? I want to give some stuff away, right? Who's the person drowning? So somebody's in the middle of the lake drowning. They're surrounded by other people in little boats. If that's a job search, who's the one drowning? Let's see if anybody gets it right. You guys are a pretty savvy crowd. So, and just thanks for sticking, right? Like I can see how many of you are here. Like, you guys are sticking. So Brenda says me, Kimberly says me, Jamie says the applicant. Yeah, I see you guys. I see you. Nobody's got the right answer yet, though. It's not the applicant. Who's the one drowning? It's not the job searchers, Brent, right? Yeah, Kimberly P. Kimberly P got it right. And you know what? So did Paul. I see you guys. So let's do Kimberly and Paul. We're going to send you that LinkedIn course. And you're right. It's the employer. Now, that being said, a lot of job seekers walk around acting as though they're the one drowning, right? They're the one drowning. They're like, oh my gosh, I'm drowning. Please pick me. And it's almost like hey, Jennifer S., we look forward to talking to you. Nice job, Jennifer, right? The person in the water's drowning, splashing around. They're the employer. And we're rowing up as the job seeker saying, oh, help. Hey, let me rescue, please. And the drowning employer's like, I need somebody to rescue and not that guy, right? Because needy is creepy. So this brings us to the idea of mindset, right? If you get nothing else out of this workshop today, right? We want to approach the job search from a place of service, realizing that we're safe. We're the ones in the boat. And often it can feel like we're not safe. Maybe we've got family putting pressure on us. We got, holidays. How am I going to buy Christmas gifts, right? I don't have permission to be happy over the holidays because I'm on this job hunt. I really wanted to have this figured out by the end of the year. I'm drowning. Nah, you're not drowning. You're just looking for a job. The employer's the one's drowning. And so we want to keep this in mind. Angeline, you booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, Angeline, right? Look forward to talking to you, Angeline. So you want to approach this from a place of service. People don't want to be sold. They want to be served. All right. Do you see how this shift in mindset could fundamentally change your job search? Because it can. All right, guys, I got another one for you. Here we go. So some of you know the show Deadliest Catch. Fishermen in Alaska put these big steel cages on the bottom of the ocean floor with a little bit of bait, hoping to catch some crab. So sure enough, some crab come along and they join, right? One of them is a crab named Charlie. Charlie talks like this. I'm Charlie the crab, right? And I don't know why Charlie talks like that. It's not because he's a crab. That's just how Charlie talks. We want to be authentic. He's an authentic crab. So Charlie's like, I'm going to get some crab food. So Charlie goes in there. They all start nibbling. Remember, Sally joins, Cheryl joins, right? More, Mike joins, right? And all of a sudden, Charlie's like, there's no more food. I'm out of here, boys. So Charlie starts to leave. Now, the other crabs do not like this. They are not pleased with what Charlie's doing. So they will pull Charlie back in. They'll even pull off one of Charlie's arms. They'll even do a crab murder on poor Charlie, because crabs like to be with other crabs. That's how they roll. And of course, the bad part is they all get pulled up and become somebody's dinner. And this brings us to the idea of environment. Environment. Some of you are working under the misinterpretation of reality that the reason you're not getting a job is because you got mustard on your shirt, or it's the economy, or the industry's saturated, or you're too old, or you're too young, or you don't know the right people. Nah. You just don't have a good system, and your environment may not be supporting you. Environment eats all that other stuff for lunch. And when I say environment, I'm talking about your social environment, emotional, intellectual, spiritual, physical, all of it. A lot of times when people join our program, this alone does the trick. You just got to optimize your environment as best you can. Some of us have family members that are telling us to settle because they're trying to keep us safe. It's not particularly helpful, and we love them anyway, or maybe we don't. Either way, so you're going to want to optimize your environment. Some of you are familiar with the idea of reference groups, right? Where the average weight, income, education of the 5 people we hang out with most. Exactly. So you're going to want to have a group of people. Hi, Ernest. You booked a call, man. We look forward to talking to yours, right? You're going to want to be with a group of people that are up to what you're up to. It's one of the things we offer in the Get Hired Fast program, right? It's awesome. I had 50 people on a Zoom call yesterday, and like they were getting interviews and supporting each other. It's awesome. And every time I do these calls, I'm like, nobody's going to show up. And they do, because people like being with other people, especially in an increasingly automated world. Job searching can be really lonely, and it doesn't have to be. All right, guys, let's go on to this next tactic here. Vision. Some of you may know the proverb where there is no vision, the people perish, right? So sometimes I'll ask people, I'll say, how much money do you want to make? And they're like, well, I want to make anywhere from between 50 and 150,000. I'm like, okay, you have an interesting voice as well. What do you want to do? And they're like, well, I want to help people. And I'm like, that's really beautiful. And it's super vague, Gomer Pyle. It's super vague, Gomer, right? This has to do with the reticular activating system, right? If I say the color red right now, you're all instantly more aware of the color red just because I said it. Hey, Mindy T, you booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, Mindy. Nice job, right? Bruce Lee said, be careful what you're telling yourself because your body's listening. If we don't have clarity and vision around how we're going to help the world, we'll be blind to it. Literally. I'm not just saying we won't notice it. Like our eyeballs will literally not see it. It's how our nervous system works. It's like when you buy a car and you're like, nobody else has this car. I see a smiley face, Crystal. Nobody else has got this car. And then you drive out the lot and you see the car 5 times. And you're like, what? What the Sigma? Right? It's because now you're noticing it. So we want to be really intentional about our vision. Right? There's a reason when race car drivers drive 500 miles in a circle that they don't look at the outer wall, because the car's going to tend to go where they look. And if you're not looking anywhere, you're just going to be going 500 miles in a circle, just like those race car drivers. Sound familiar? All right, guys, I got another giveaway here. Here it is. If I went to the store and I bought this, what would I be buying? What would I be buying if what the Sigma's giving? Thanks, Fred. You must have kids like I do. That's right. I don't even know what that means. Hopefully it's not inappropriate. I don't know. So, Benny Moore. Benny Moore got it. Hey, Carlos, see, you booked a call. So Benny Moore, you got it right out of the gate. Sorry, guys. Benny's too sharp. So we're going to make sure we send that LinkedIn course to Benny. How to make your LinkedIn profile awesome. You're buying a hole. That's right, Benny. You're buying a hole. Right? You're not buying a drill. And actually, Benny, you're wrong. I don't know. We're going to send you the course, Benny. And you're right, Benny. But you actually don't need a hole. What I actually need is a place to put the hook. And actually, I don't need a place to put the hook. What I actually need is a place to hang the photo. And actually, I don't even want that. What I really want is the feeling I get when I look at the picture of my beautiful family that knows about Skippity Toilet, that's hanging on the hook, that's in the hole that was made by the drill. Dorothy C. booked a call. Nice job, Dorothy C. We look forward to talking to you. Right? Which brings us to the idea of giving safety. There's only one reason that an employer will hire you. It's not your skills. It's not your experience. It's not even if they like you. It's if they trust you. That's the whole ball game, my friends. Right? And so the best way to build trust is to be vulnerable and to make people feel seen, heard, and understood. Right? A lot of people are just walking around talking about themselves. Like, that's useless. right? Some of you are talking about them and you're talking about the drill. Like people who watched this workshop in June, I'm hearing from them now because they're like, Eric, I've been doing what you've been saying. It hasn't been working. I'm like, show me. And they're talking about them, but they're talking about the drill. They're not talking about the feeling. Hey, Christy P, you booked a call. Nice job. Look for that. They're not talking about what keeps them up at night. Let's make sure we send Christy that course, guys. They're not sure, and everybody, they're not sure. They're not talking about what keeps them up at night when they're trying to go to sleep. If you can get to that, it doesn't matter if LinkedIn says there's 5,000 applicants. Who cares? Because they're all talking about themselves. You're going to be the one that's making them feel seen, heard, and understood. Do you see how this is so much more sophisticated than the normal stuff you've been hearing about ATS and like hiding your age, all that kind of stuff? Yeah, Christy P, you booked a call. We look forward to seeing you, Christy. Right? Do you see how this is so much more sophisticated? This is how you get hired. This is it, guys. It's the simplest thing in the world. I'm not saying it's easy, and there's a lot more to it. Jay, you booked a call. We look forward to talking to you. But the question you're going to ask is, how can you make them feel seen, heard, and understood? You go down that road, my friends, you get hired fast. All right, guys, let's talk about resumes. Resumes, right? Everybody's got an opinion. They're sort of the least good way we've come up with to do this since Roman times, and it's what people are looking for. So you're going to want to have one. Realize that a resume is just a communication piece, and it matters how you send it, what you say, when, where you send it. And for goodness sakes, you don't want your resume to look like everybody else's. Please do not follow best practices when it comes to, we don't want to be the guy who's asking, I was in traffic the other day. My wife pulled up the car next to me. I rolled down the window and I said, pardon me, ma'am, do you have any Grey Poupon? My daughters were in the back and she was with her friends and they were like, what the hell? My dad's listening. Some of you remember the Grey Poupon commercial. Like you remember Thurston Howell III, Grey Poupon. Yeah, but some of you don't. Anyhow, nobody wants to hire Thurston Howell III, right? They don't want to hire somebody like that. They want to hire somebody who's real. They don't want to hire someone who's following best practices. They want a resume to be the best Jay resume that's ever been, the best Christy resume that's ever been. So you're going to want to make your resume accordingly. For example, do you have hyperlinks in your resume? You could. A lot of people skip that step and they might not even click the links, but it shows, like you'll notice in mine, I've got a section called More Eric. It's evidence that I'm human. We had a client last year at the bottom of her resume. She put 2 truths and a lie. Brilliant. She got 2 interviews and 2 offers just from doing that. And we know because that's what they told her. Lately, we've been having clients put the 3 things I'm most scared of. Talk about vulnerability and trust building. Works great. You can do the same. All right, guys. If a job application is submitted and there is no follow-up, does it even make a sound? Right? Crystal, does it even make a sound? I would humbly suggest it doesn't. Which brings us to the idea of follow-up. Right? A lot of people apply and they're like, well, I hope I hear back. And that's the voice they have in their head. And I don't know why. That's just the voice, right? It's I hope I hear back. Next. No, follow up, right? Edison, you booked a call. Love that name, Edison. Great name, right? Book, like you're going to want to follow up. And when you follow up, you're not going to be like, hey, like really excited about the job. And I would do a great job because that's you selling yourself. You're welcome, Brenda. You're welcome. We look forward to talking to you, Brenda. I remember you booked a call. Nice job, right? You're not going to want to like say that. And you're not going to want to do to the recruiter because the recruiter is they go to a special training camp to become highly trained professional ninjas at keeping you away from the hiring manager. Because if you talk to the hiring manager, the recruiter really doesn't have a job anymore, right? So they don't want that. So we love recruiters and just circumvent those recruiters, right? Find a hiring manager. And by the way, when you get those letters, those flimsy little emails that come in 2 seconds, just ignore them, those automated things, because you can find the hiring manager, right? Knock on the back and connect with the hiring manager. They'll knock on the back door of HR and they'll be like, Brent, I want to talk to Brent, right? And all of a sudden Brent will get like, congratulations, we want you to have an interview. And so will Richard B, who just booked a call. So you're going to want to follow up. Now, some of you are asking, but Eric, a lot of times they don't put who to contact. I know. I got a course. It's called How to Contact Anybody. I want to give it to you for being here on this Tuesday after Thanksgiving for free. Here's how you get the course. 1, you're going to go to my LinkedIn profile, right? Jess and Jelly are going to, thanks guys, they're going to drop that's the link to my LinkedIn profile. You're going to connect with me or follow me, right? Got to connect with me in order to do this. Then you're going to send me an email and you're going to put the single word chicken. right? Chicken. You're going to put the word chicken, just the single word chicken. So you're going to go to my LinkedIn profile, right? You're going to connect with me, follow me, and then you're going to email me through LinkedIn the word chicken. That's right. That's what you're going to do. And when you do that, we will send you the link to this free course. And if for some reason you don't get it because we just get busy and things are crazy, just like, hey, say, hey, you communist Eric, you said that you're going to send it to me. Where's my free course? And we'll send it to you. Right. So this will help you connect with anybody. You can find anybody. It's getting even easier than it was when I even filmed this. I probably ought to refilm it. All right. So follow up from a place of service. And some of you are like, maybe it's too pushy. Nah, if you were in the boat and somebody was face down in the water and you said, hey, buddy, you okay? And they didn't move. You'd jump in the water, you'd flip them over, you'd start doing mouth to mouth. And if they were like, lady, I was just snorkeling, you'd be like, my bad. And you would be willing to offend in the name of service, right? If you hold the door for somebody and they don't walk through, you're fine. There's no attachment there. Same thing with job searching. Same thing, right? Catch the chicken, Brett. That's right, Brett. All right, let's go on to this next tactic, guys. This is a big one. Networking. Hey, Rena. Nice to see you, Rena. You booked a call, right? So some of you, if I asked you, how many people do you know in the world? Actually, let's put that in the chat. Put in the chat how many people you know on planet Earth. I would like to know. Just give me an estimate, right? How many people do you know on planet Earth? Like, let's see what answer. I've never actually asked this before during the workshop. It's a new feature I'm doing, right? Like, how many people would you say you know on planet Earth? You guys are calculating, right? You're looking at your, right? Because here's the thing. If you've been alive more than like 20 years, you probably know thousands. You're probably lowballing it. Yeah, Brent, you're great, Brent. Okay, I appreciate the plus. Yeah, even Brent, you're lowballing it, man. Unless you're like a kid, right? Jamie says a couple thousand. Nah, you know more. It's probably tens to hundreds of thousands. If you've been on Earth any amount of time, you know lots of people. People like to help people. When we ask people for help, it's a gift. You want to give some holiday gifts this season? Make your gift asking people for help. Best gifts they'll receive. Trust me, right? Asking for help makes you look strong. And the reason it's a gift is we wouldn't, when we ask somebody for help, they know that their help is worth something because we wouldn't have asked for it unless their help was worth something. So you're going to want to network and you're going to want to have a system for this. No one-offs, right? You don't want the system where you're like fishing, right? And you've got a line and you got to get the right bait on the right fish at the right depth. I mean, good Lord, good luck with all that, right? What we want to do instead is filter the ocean. So we don't have to worry about where the jobs are because wherever they show up, we're going to be there only all the time, right? And you're going to want to have a system for that. Hey, Jenneth, look forward to talking to you. Hopefully I pronounced your name correctly, right? Filter the ocean. All right, guys, let's talk about interviews. Two important things when it comes to interviews. Well, actually, one important thing. Best interview advice in the world. Here it is. You ready? Please prepare for the advice. Here it is. Don't answer their questions. Now, look, if you're in some technical interview and they're wanting to know what 1 + 1 equals, sure, answer their questions. And even then, they're really only asking one question in an interview. And the question is this: can I trust you? That's it. Right? If we were in that movie where everybody told the truth, they'd sit down for an interview and they'd be like, can I trust you? No, not really. Well, great. Nice. Thanks for coming in. You won't be getting an offer. Okay, that's what I thought. Right? Nobody doesn't work like that. Right? We ask questions like, tell me about a time you had a professional achievement. And the person says, well, I'm a very awesome person, blah, 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 blah. But really all they're doing is making mouth noise to get you to make mouth noise so they can judge the mouth noise to evaluate whether they can trust you. That's it. So you might as well give answers and tell stories focused on that. They won't even remember the question they asked, right? Mark N. We look forward to talking to you, Mark N. Right? You're going to want to build trust. That's what we help clients. A lot of clients come to us after they've been on interviews and they've gotten to the very end a couple times. They're like, man, I don't want any more silver medals. They come to us and they get hired fast. All right, guys, let's talk about offers. Two important things with offers. Here we go. One, you don't have to worry if you're qualified for a job before you apply. They'll have an opinion. And two, you don't even have to worry if you want a job unless and until it's offered. Because unless and until that's offered, you're sort of negotiating with yourself. So when the recruiter says, hey, we'd like to pay you $1, no, I don't have a recruiting services. I mean, sometimes we help organizations, Arlen, but hey, Kevin B booked a call. Nice job. Sometimes I feel like a recruiter because sometimes our recruiting friends aren't super savvy with this stuff, but you can be savvier. You can help them out. Just like Kevin B, who booked a call. Nice job, Kevin. Right? So what you're going to want to do instead is tell stories and offer answers that build trust. Works so much better. Right? So if you've been getting a lot of interviews and not breaking through, this is why. Right? They don't trust you. And it's okay. Right? It's not anything personal. They just don't trust you. Hey, Mohammed, you booked a call. Nice job, buddy. We look forward to talking to you. All right, guys. So look, write this down. 4 strategies, 9 tactics. Here it is right here. Right? This is how you get hired fast, in case you were wondering. So some of you are realizing that this stuff, hey, JS, booked a call. Nice job, JS. We look forward to talking to you. Some of you are realizing that, oh, crap, this is different. This is different than what I've heard before. This goes against what I've been doing. I know. This stuff isn't Googleable. This stuff is different. Thank you for noticing, right? And some of you are like, well, I'm just going to wait until the new year. I'm just going to wait. Guys, I cannot tell you how many times I see this. People who think about it lose out on opportunities. And look, I have a doctorate in education. It's hard for me to say that sometimes. People that think about it miss out on opportunities. I just heard about somebody the other day who it was through one of my coaches, was sitting on a job offer for like 2 or 3 months because he wasn't sure. And they finally just rescinded it. And the guy was devastated. He'll be fine. And like those that think about it miss out on opportunities, right? So, and I just want to show you how expensive it is to wait. So if this is the annual salary that you're looking for, here's how much it's, oh yeah, that's me. Who's Eric? Yeah, that's me. Sometimes I do coaching for that group, Brent. Yeah, those are good people. Courtney H, you booked a call. Nice job. Right? So like, that's how much it's costing you per month. This is how much it's costing you per week. Being on a job hunt is expensive. So, right. So if we can get you hired just a couple of weeks sooner, like you're going to more than pay for this course, right? This program that I'm talking about. It's called Get Hired Fast. Comes with a lot of things, right? Our mission is to help job seekers overcome the typical nonsense. Job seekers of all industries, all levels, right? Overcome the typical stuff so that they can get hired fast, earn what they and their family deserve. That's our mission. And this is how we do it. One-on-one coaching, group coaching. You think this workshop was good? Wait till you see the paid stuff. It's so much better. Like we're just skimming the surface here, guys. Yeah. And we go through all of it, like your mindset, like your LinkedIn, cover letters, like clarity around what you want to do, resumes, follow-up, networking, like interviews, offers. A lot of times people pay for the program just in our helping them negotiate offers. Happens all the time. Happened a couple times last week. So here's a bunch of really great people who went through the program. Jessie was a nonprofit exec. She got like 2 or 3 offers in the program. Finally, she accepted one. She was all worried about it. She's like, do I have to accept an offer? I'm like, no, but she got a lot of them. Right? Wouldn't that be a great problem to have? Right? Robert was coming from overseas, didn't want to like land back in the States and job hunt for 3 months. He didn't. He got hired like sort of on arrival. Right? Wayne was a guy who got a bunch of, Amy was one of these folks that she kept getting to the final round of an interview and then got a no. She was with our program, I think 6 weeks, and she finally got an offer that she really liked. John was a CEO that worked with us. We got him an offer, right? Philip was an early professional. He got 2 offers at once. You already heard from Angel, right? So here's the stats. And remember, people don't make decisions based on facts, but I'll humor you, right? This is how this breaks out. So you can see in the first 3 months, the vast majority of people in this program get offers. For some, it takes 4 months. And then there's a few where it takes, I'm not going to lie to you and be like, well, everybody gets it in 4 months, because that would be lying. There's few people who, for whatever reason, they get sick, or, they have a family member, or sometimes they just are slow on the work and take them a little bit longer. The guarantee with this program, though, is that we're going to get you hired in 3 months or less. And if not, we'll stay with you until you do. That's the guarantee. So, because what you don't want to do is keep doing what you've been doing on the hamster wheel to keep getting the same results you've been getting. That is no bueno. So we got some of you are asking, hey, Carlos, we look forward to talking to you, Carlos. Some of you are like, but Eric, can I afford it? Yeah, you can afford it, right? Especially if you can get financing, right? If you're like, you haven't been out of work and money's tight, like all the more reason to sign up. So you don't spend the next 3 months like losing out on the salary you could be getting, right? We have payment plans available. I think they start at it's like $300 or $400 a month, right? And then you pay off the rest when you get the job. Yeah, less than $300 a month through PayPal or Klarna. And again, if you do the work, if you join our program, first of all, if we offer you to join the program, we're not going to make you an offer. We don't think we can help you, but if you join, like we'll stay with you until you get the job. And for a lot of people, that's 3 months or less. Lots of examples, guys. Really proud of this program. So the way to find out about this, and a lot of you have already done it, is book a strategy call, right? 3 rules though. You're going to show up for the call. Guys, don't cancel. Like, don't do that. How do you feel when recruiters cancel on you? Be the change you seek. Don't get cold feet and be like, oh, I can't afford it, or I'm going to make something more important in my future. Like, just don't do that, please. Like, I want to take a stand for you. Like, please don't do that. You're going to be open to investing yourself, even if you're scared, right? You want or some organization to pay you a lot of money. Like, be the change you seek. Be willing to invest in yourself. It's a great way to get others to invest in you, and you're ready to get started, right? If you want to get started in 6 months, come back to us in 6 months. And if nothing else, you'll just get some great coaching. Like, I have great coaches. They'll just talk to your what's going on with your job search and maybe uncover some things that you hadn't noticed. So that's how you book a call. That's the link, guys. I know a lot of you have already booked it. What a great crowd. I was a little bit worried that we'd have a small crowd today, but you guys have been fantastic. All right, guys, let's take some questions. I didn't see a ton, so don't be shy about asking some questions. And I'm going to give you my full gigantic head here so you can really appreciate the planetary size of it. I'm curious who, if anybody, has a question. I know one thing that comes up a lot is age, right? How do I deal with ageism? And what I would say to that is, it's never the scandal, it's always the cover up, right? And some of you have been told, well, you know, you're going to want to take off everything but the last 15 years of your experience, and you're going to want to hide your graduation dates. There's nothing that destroys trust more. It's such a barrier to you getting a job, because basically what you're saying is, I want you to trust me to hire me, and I don't trust you, right? Or because you're hiding your age, now you're instantly 97 years old, because why else would you hide your age? And for those of you who are 97, lots of love to you, right? John M. booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, John M. All right, I think I see a question here. Okay. Good job, Jessa and Jelly. You guys are the best. So how do you negotiate a higher salary? It's a great question, Benny. And again, guys, keep some questions coming because we don't have a big crowd today. I ought to be able to get you a lot of questions. How do you negotiate a higher salary? So first of all, what a lot of employers will do, Benny, is they'll come to you and they'll say, Benny, if we offered you this salary, would you take it? And your answer is always, what a great idea. So appreciate your question. I'd have to see the offer. Yeah, but if we offered you this, would you take it? Great. And I'd have to see the offer, right? Don't let them get into the business of pre-negotiating, because it's just kind of like a lazy recruiter, right? And they're basically saying, okay, we made you the offer and you already agreed to it. Don't do that. See the offer, have them put in the effort. And once they've done that, once they've already fallen in love with you, once the hiring manager already is ready for you to get hired, and now it's up to the recruiter to get you in, that's when you say, you want somebody who can do this and 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 this. How can I do that for $5? You don't say you won't do it for $5. You just get really curious. Well, that's all the money we have. Totally hear you on that. That's all the money you have. What do you mean? Well, that's all our budget. Yeah, budget. Sure, budgets are important. Can I ask you a question? Yeah. How's the budget made? And if you get to a point where there's like, I've answered all your questions, we got no more money, fine. And you say, what else is possible? There's other levers: title, vacation, schedule, benefits, right? All sorts of other levers, bonuses, equity, right? That you can pull. And at the end of the day, you never even have to say no. They're like, we're going to pay you $5. And you'd be like, well, how can I do that for $5? They're like, it's all we have. You say, okay, great. It's been great. See, I'm not even saying no. I'm just like, because they haven't really answered my question. How can I do that for $5? Well, it's all we have. See, they haven't really answered my question. They're just saying that's all we have. Okay, great. So you'll let me know when you have an answer, and you walk away or you take it. So sorry, that's kind of a long-winded answer to Benny's question. And we may have some more people that booked a call. So John booked a call. Tyler D booked a call. So acknowledge you. All right, let's do some more questions. Tyler D, who just booked a call. Tyler just booked a call. Good job. Okay. So Darian, hopefully I'm pronouncing your name correctly. What would you say to someone who needs more support about figuring out what they want to do next? Yeah. So first of all, I'd say 2 things. Darian, you don't need more support. You don't need anything. All right. And this is going to be language that's in our head when it comes to a job search. I need more money. I need a job. Nah, you want a job. Because see, if it's a need, that's terrifying. See, I don't know the difference between I need a job and I need to go into the cave and close the door so I'm not eaten by a tiger. Like, our brain doesn't know the difference. Right. So it's not that you need more support. You want more support. Great. It's one of the things that we do in our program, right? We do this thing called a title exercise, because a lot of people are like, I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. It's fine. Right. And the opportunity is, there's this thing called Ikigai. Some of you may know it, right? A lot of people focus on, what do I want to do? There's other circles or what are you good at? What can you get paid for? And what does the world need? That's the one that most people forget. So we work with people on that all the time, because we want to make sure that the next thing you get in really feeds your soul. Wouldn't that be nice to have a job that fed your soul? I think so. All right, let's do another question here. Edward, do you have strategies to deal with job scams? Yeah, they're out there, and I relate to them in a way that is upsetting, right? Job scams. So, it's because sometimes my clients will actually, they will run into this and they'll ask me, does this seem legit? And look, hey, Adam L., you booked a call. We look forward to talking to you. Good job, Adam. Good job, man. So, what I tend to find, and I actually did a LinkedIn post on this. And by the way, if you haven't connected me on LinkedIn, definitely connect with me because we want to send you that free course. Anytime they want to go fast, right? Like, I mean, isn't that ironic? Like job searching is slow. But if you find somebody that's like unusually fast and they're wanting to talk to you about a job that you're like, it's not just that you have imposter syndrome. Like they want you for a software engineer and you don't have anything like that on your resume. Also, if they're like off camera, right? They're unwilling to like get on the phone. And the tricky one sometimes, Edward, is they will say that it'd be like, I hope this never happens, but somebody would say they're like me and they pretend to be me. And you look up me and are like, oh, this guy, Eric, he seems legit mostly, right? He seems legit. So this must be fine, but it's not actually me or like another recruiter. That's the thing to watch. So just make sure they're like on screen. That's probably why I do these videos. Like, this is me. Like maybe it'll be AI someday, but not yet. This is actually me. I don't know if there's a way to prove it anymore, but I can move my thumb, right? There we go. Now you know it's not AI, maybe. So yeah, that's what I'd say. But just be careful, go slow, and don't ever give out like personal identifiable information. That's bullshit, right? The other thing you'll run into sometimes, guys, hey, Edward, nice job talking to you, but is sometimes you'll run into is a recruiter will say, hey, I've got a job for you and I need your resume. And you send them the resume and they're like, oh dear, this resume needs to be revised. Let me send it to our resume writer and you'll pay them to fix it up. Yeah, don't fall for that. That's really hyper annoying. Don't do that one. So there you go. How to deal with job scams. Like, yeah, okay. So Tyler says, I'm graduating a couple weeks with a master's and had a job already until recently, so didn't do any internships. Would it be better to try and get a paid gross? I don't think you have to do an internship. You don't have to do anything. You could be curious. I mean, the reason to do an internship is for learning. Right? Like anybody who's like, well, an internship's like any other job. No, it's to learn, paid or unpaid, it's to learn, right? And if they can pay you, that's great. And if not, you can afford it, that's great too, right? The whole purpose is to learn. And it could be that if an internship is, especially going into the spring, internships might not be too hard to get as opposed to summer. Yeah, it is recorded, Imam. We'll send it to you on LinkedIn. It could be that, they might be easier to get a spring internship. And, so internships, a couple things. You could get an internship at an organization that you like, right? So find the organization you want to work for and show up and you're like, I'm going to be your intern until you pay me. But we don't have a program. You're going to create one, right? I'm just going to hang around until you let me through the door. I mean, almost, right? And like, well, I guess we have an internship program now. Well, let me help you create one. I mean, we can be willing to offend in the name of service, right? And then, stay until they start paying you or use it as a bridge or go ahead and start applying for jobs and see what happens. Congratulations on just graduating, by the way, with your master's. That's great. It's great. And if you've got a master's, internships are okay, but yeah, I don't know. You might be ready for the real job market. So again, without knowing you exactly. And Tyler, I know you booked a call, so hopefully I get a chance to talk to you. So, all right, guys, let's see here. Any other questions? Let's see here. Oh, show us today's paper, says Kimberly. Oh, that's a good one. I don't have any newspapers, though. Hey, Nathan B., you booked a call. Yeah, if it was back in the day, I would have had today's paper like a kidnapper. Oh, that's a good idea. Okay, so Brett says, so I'm 97. First, say to not include more than 10 years on your resume. Yeah, they're just wrong. And probably those pros have about 10 years of experience on their resume. That's what I'm guessing, right? Because very often the professional skills that are probably most valuable to you were your earliest jobs. How do you build a strategy around being older and still being a valuable asset? So it's great. It's a great question, Brent. And I just want to point out to you that when we worry about age, it's self-centered. See, if I'm worried about my age, I'm worried about me. I'm not focused on them. So if I got into, and there was an old debate, what was was it Reagan Mondale? I forget, right? Where, somebody seems worried about your age, you'd be like, yeah, we could talk about my age for these 30 minutes, or we could talk about what's possible for you and your company. What would you like to talk about? Right? You're so welcome, Tyler, right? Like that's what they're going to want to talk about. Right? Yeah, my age here is not an issue. What's at issue here is you guys are trying to get done this and this and this and this. You can actually tell them how to think. And if they ask you a question, you'd be like, that's a great question. You know what? Here's a better question. Let me answer that one. And they'll just be like, okay. Right? People want leadership. Show them that you're a leader, even in the job search process. Awesome. All right, guys. Brent, happy birthday, 97-year-old Brent. All right, let's see what else we got here. Any other questions? Maybe not. And Jess and Jelly, I just want to acknowledge you guys for being here. You guys have been such a super crowd. Again, we had a smaller group today. You guys have been fantastic. Really appreciate you being here. And look, friends, if you've been on the job hunt, I just want to let you know there are bright things on the horizon for you. And especially if you're wanting to head into 2026, getting different results than you got in 2025, come book a call with us. Worst case, you get some great coaching. Best case, we get you into our program. We just get this job thing handled. Either way, please know I'm cheering for you. You can get this done. So many others have. You will too. There are bright things on the horizon for you. I promise. All right, guys, take care of yourselves. It's been great. Take care.
I got a job offer thanks to Win at Work. I really appreciate all the help and materials and one-on-one coaching. I applied cold to an organization I was interested in and received the automated response, we're pursuing other candidates. And then there was another posting for the same role or similar role in the same organization. And this time I really used a lot of the Win at Work process. I also really appreciate the coaching I received on interview prep from my coach, Patrick, and the Win at Work materials on interview prep. I feel like I really impressed the HR recruiter. She scheduled me for another interview with program directors a couple days later. They were also really impressed and said I had a lot of good answers, and I really just did what I learned in this program. Make it about them, talk about them, be authentic, and now I have my new job offer.
My name is Charlotte Jones. I got a new position and I got hired pretty fast in the last month of being with Win at Work. So I have been searching for a job for a little over 7 months, and I've been at Win at Work for just a month, for about 40 days. So I do really like the one-on-one time that I get with a coach or a career coach, counselor. And I also like that interaction and listening to the successes and the stories of how someone might be thinking about their job search or how they might want to present themselves during interview, what may work and what hasn't worked. And I like to hear those stories from others because I found that I was having some of the same experiences. And then really when it came down to getting an offer and being able to connect with Eric directly and really get that one-on-one coaching, that was truly helpful. I felt like that was a white glove service that was worth, getting involved with and connecting with Win at Work.
I started job searching a month before I started the program. It took me between 6 months and a year since COVID to find contract jobs. So when I got the notification, the Win at Work, get hired fast, it was called Get Hired Fast email, I said, I just knew immediately this was the way to go to quicken the time. I immediately jumped on this because in the past, it had just taken so long to find work and find the right kind of work. I mean, I've had in my career a couple of really horrible contracts, and I knew my biggest problem in getting hired was first my resume. I felt comfortable about interviewing with companies. The interviews I was not worried about. It really was the resume. Doing that master resume from beginning to end with everything on it was incredibly freeing. I joined on 5/29 on an 8/11. I had not only a job offer, but the job offer that I wanted. And that was incredible. When I got immersed in this whole program, there are so many great things here. Just learning all these new tools and tips. And it was the power hours. They were boosters. And I love the fact that they had a theme every week as you were, going through this process. And it was just so comforting to have that. And then the individual coaching sessions, those were great.
Path, man. Keep on the path. All right, we're getting a bigger crowd now. It's so nice. Tell me who else has something to share. Yeah, Kay, talk to us.
So I went off camera a few minutes ago because I just got an offer from my dream job and my dream company. So real time, it happened just now. So on, thanks, Eric.